Welcome to my channel. I'm your reactions where every time you come on my channel, you're going to get this truth. Today, I want to talk to you guys about what's going on between the U.S. and Venezuela. I want to be able to prove to you guys today, using these compilation of videos that I put together, that it is not about bringing the Venezuela president to justice. That is really about the U.S. taking control over the land, so therefore they can get to resources. So I got a banger for you guys today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Let's dive into it.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault, and it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
Well, I got to stop the video right there. Do I agree with dictatorship? 100% no. However, late November 2025, Trump started to talk about the pardon of the former president of Honduras. His name is Juan Orlando Hernandez. December 1st, 2025, he actually granted the clemency. This former president had a 45-year prison sentence. And the crazy thing about it is, it was literally almost the same crime as what they're capturing the Venezuela president for. So my whole thing is it really about justice, or is it really about capturing the president so therefore you can get over there and control the land for the resources? But I digress.
This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites.
And we all remember what happened over there in the Iran nuclear sites. If I'm not mistaken, I think Trump had sent, B-2 bombers over there to bomb Iran nuclear sites because they can be a potential threat for the future. Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't think it really is, but you guys can go ahead and leave your comments in the comment.
Just recently,
with major breaking news out of Venezuela, the White House has confirmed that President Trump ordered strikes on the country, which included military facilities. In a Truth Social post at 4:21 a.m., the president announced the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. That was from the President of the United States. In a brief phone interview this morning with the New York Times, the president celebrated the successful capture of Maduro, saying it.
Of course the president is going to celebrate, because now they can take control over the land. What's his name? Nicolas Maduro. Of course they're going to celebrate capturing him and his wife. 100% he's going to celebrate. Why? Because now he has access to the oil. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Venezuela oil, I think is 17% of the world oil reserves. But we're going to talk about that in the upcoming video later on in this video.
Involved, quote, a lot of good planning. And
one more thing too, is also going to change it can also change the trajectory of America's economy as well. It can help it out by a long shot.
A lot of great troops and great people. It was a brilliant operation, actually. As a part of the campaign, at least 7 explosions rang out in Venezuela's capital, Caracas, in an attack that lasted less than 30 minutes, according to the Associated Press. When asked if he had sought congressional authority for the operation or what is next for Venezuela, Trump said he would address those matters during his news conference at Mar-a-Lago later today.
See, whenever they say what is next for Venezuela and Trump is able to make a decision on that, that goes to tell you that that was the real reason why Trump wanted to capture the president over there in Venezuela. So therefore, he can have final say so. So therefore, he can make decisions over there. Because remember, if you can get control over Venezuela and you can get the resource as far as like the oil concern, right? Then now you can come and start building your own oil. You can set up your own oil companies. You can clean the oil. You can sell the oil. You can do whatever you want. And we're not just talking about $1 million job. We're talking about something that can bring in billions and possibly trillions of dollars in the future. But I digress.
According to Utah Senator Mike Lee, who says he spoke this morning with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Maduro has been arrested by U.S. personnel to stand trial on criminal charges in the United States, and the strikes overnight were deployed to, quote, protect and defend those executing the arrest warrant. Of course, this follows a months-long pressure campaign by the United States, which has included seizing Venezuelan oil tankers, deploying warships, including the USS Gerald Ford, and striking alleged drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean.
The Trump administration kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife.
So I wanted to pause this video before we actually listen to her speak, because even though she's coming from a little bit of a biased point of view, well, I'm not even really going to say that. She's coming from the point of view where she's trying to see truth in this whole entirety, right? And she's one of the ones who's actually able to see behind a veil. But she really makes some valid points. And I love the fact that she was able to point out the pardon of the former president of Honduras, because she was able to see the same things that I was able to see, which goes to tell me that she's able to see behind the veil on things. And she also knows that it's not about justice, but it's really about taking control over the land. It's really about money. It's really about doing what's best interest of the American economy.
Last night in a violation of international law and of the Constitution. This is not legal. This is an impeachable offense. No ifs, ands, or buts. So what happens next? Apparently, the president of Venezuela and his wife have been indicted by the Southern District of New York on drug trafficking conspiracy. Narco-terrorism is what they're calling it. And they are apparently going to be brought to New York to face the Department of Justice. But I just want to point out that that indictment was overseen by Emile Beauvais, who is a Trump loyalist. He, last year, apparently a whistleblower said that Emile Beauvais said, we're going to have to tell the courts F you. Beauvais was a part of the administration's defiance of a court order to when he deported Venezuelans to be imprisoned in El Salvador without due process. So this is
basically what she's getting at, folks, is that he is the right man for the job.
not some like unbiased prosecutor who's just following the letter of the law. That's not what's going on here. Okay, this is a Trumper. This is a political action. And it becomes especially insulting to our intelligence when you remember the fact that Trump pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was convicted here in the US of drug trafficking and, you know, his involvement with the cartels. He was convicted here. And Trump pardoned him, claiming it was a Biden witch hunt. This is not about like justice for, you know, bringing people to justice for narco-terrorism. That's not what this is about. Trump does not care about that because he just pardoned the former president of Honduras for the same fucking thing. This is political. This is about oil.
The U.S. has carried out a series of airstrikes in Venezuela, capturing President.
So this video right here, I was talking about this video earlier. I added in this video so you guys can see that it is more dominantly about the oil. And bringing the Venezuela president to justice was just a cover up. This was just, okay, well, we need a reason to go over there and get the resources, right? Because I guarantee you that eventually the president of Venezuela and his wife is going to get pardoned. He's going to grant them clemency. They're going to be free. Right. So it has nothing to do with bringing them to justice, even if they're probably not even going to see any jail time or prison time at all. Honestly, this is probably just a cover up story for them to have a reason to go over there. And then when they bring them over, and then when they bring the president of Venezuela and his wife over here, they're going to give them orders of what they can and what they cannot do as far as having them follow a certain agenda. And then they're going to make it seem like to the public that, hey, you know what, we're going to grant them clemency. You know, we're going to pardon them. We're going to let them go, whatever the case may be. So I'm just here to just show you guys that it's really about the oil, and that the Venezuela president, the justice part, was just, in my opinion, a reason to just go over there and do what they pretty much want to do.
President Nicolas Maduro and his wife.
President Donald Trump has said his threats against Venezuela, the U.S. military buildup in the region, and the destruction of civilian boats are about alleged drug trafficking. But there's another issue Trump has been talking about.
The oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Venezuela, on paper, has more than 300 billion barrels of oil.
Or
that is 17, just like I was saying earlier, 17% of the oil, of the world's oil reserve. You know how much money that is? We're talking about trillions of gallons of oil. Or at least a trillion. You're talking about billions of dollars in profit, maybe a trillion, couple of trillions plus. I don't know. But all I know is that it is going to give the economy, the American economy, a big boost.
roughly 17% of the world's known oil reserves.
Most of those reserves are in this vast deposit known as the Orinoco Oil Belt.
But there's even more potential underground.
The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that Venezuela has more than 1 trillion barrels of oil in place in the Orinoco Belt. To put it in perspective, the world...
Wow, 1 trillion barrels. Like, you know how much money that is? Like, that's going to bring in trillions of dollars.
Until today has consumed about 1.5 trillion.
We are going to run the country until such time as a proper transition can...
You heard what he said. He said, we are going to run the country. That's why he was celebrating. Is it all making sense now? Is it all coming together for you now?
Take place.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something new today. Till next time, y'all. Deuces.